Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Matthew, and let's dive into how to make or write a case study with ChatGPT. Now, I'm choosing ChatGPT because it is a tool, an AI tool that I'm familiar with, and I'm not going to invest time into all of them. At the end of the day, what I'm going to teach you, the prompts, the insights, applies to all AI models. There's no difference there. So one of the really important things that we would need to be aware of is, are we going to use AI to write for us or to be a writing companion with us? Two different distinctions I've been thinking through and explaining to people. The idea behind AI or ChatGPT or Bard or whoever writing for you is it's doing all of the writing. It is producing the ideas, creating the content, going through it, which is a commonality I'm seeing with people saying, hey, well, AI is doing the work. It's, well, if it's writing for you, it is doing everything. Within reason, there's still guidance from you. If it's a writing companion writing with you, there's a difference there. And it's the idea that you are using this tool, whatever AI tool that is, to help you write more efficiently, better, improving your writing, taking your ideas and modifying them to fit a certain format and so on. But for this video, as we have a lengthy intro, I'm going to teach you how to build a case study with ChatGPT and show you the simplicity of it. Now, for me, when I'm thinking of case studies, I'm thinking of two kinds of case studies, just for simple, broad categories. Case studies for discussion and case studies for exams or assessments. And those are the two broad categories I'm looking at when I think of case studies. For me, I'm going to show you how to create a case study for an exam. Or a final exam case study. And then we'll think through how to create the content for that. So the first thing I want you to do is, obviously you can use ChatGPT, the free version. At the point of this video, you don't have to log in. I'm going to log into my full version, the ChatGPT 4, and I'm going to show you some tools that will help you write this case study for your exam a lot easier, okay? And give you some insights along the way. So the first thing I always want to do is go over to teachingwithcases.com and go to the free generator. Now, this free generator is an amazing tool, and I say that not to pump my own tires, but it's awesome. And it's been thousands upon thousands of prompts that I have done to get to a point where you can put in 3 things about a case that you want, and it will create a prompt that you can copy and paste into any AI tool you want. So if you scroll down here, here's the generator. All you have to do is this. What category is your case for? So we would have already done the planning of this for our exam or our case exam. But for our scenario, I'm going to think on the fly and show you how simple we can do it. So the first thing is, what is the category, the main theme? I'm just going to choose data science, and I'm going to use cybersecurity. And it says, what is your case about? Now, this is where you would choose the topic for your case. And if I'm doing a cybersecurity case, well, I'm going to focus on a marketing one. Now, you don't have to be marketing. You could be any format, any content, any structure, any topic of whatever it is. And I'm just going to choose remote working and cyber hacking. And then obviously the next one is here is, what type of case is it? And this is where I'm ever growing this based off your feedback. And I've got a couple of different kinds of cases. We have business cases, general information cases, research cases, personal account cases, and they're not perfect, but they're just ways to structure the content to fit the way it's being delivered and the way you want your students to consume it. So for this scenario, I'm just going to choose a business case, and I'll choose general information case, and I'm going to choose general information case format. And the last part is you put your email address, and I'm going to hit generate prompt. And what the generator is doing is it's taking your inputs, it's fitting it into the prompt that I've created, and then it gives you the prompt. And here is the prompt. And because it wants to make sure you know what you did, it reminds you, hey, your category was cybersecurity in this scenario. Your topic was remote working and cyber hacking, and the case style is the general information case. And the beauty of this tool is that all you have to do is click copy to clipboard, and you've got it. You've got it on your clipboard. And we can go straight to AI, but I'm going to show you one super cool thing first. The next step of using this prompt is learning how to modify and manipulate and enhance our case study. So I'm going to scroll down, and one of the beauties of something I'm testing with is that we have custom prompts created for you. And what this does is it creates 10 uniquely customized prompts to your case study. So I'm going to see if I can use some of these a little bit and build out my case study. But essentially, there are 10 custom prompts that you can take, modify, and say, here's a starting point, and go through and improve your case study. But I'm going to go back to what I was doing, copy the clipboard, go back to ChatGPT, and this is a simple thing. All you have to do is this. Go paste and hit enter. And the actual prompt is designed in such a way that ChatGPT or any AI tool will start to write a case study for you. Now, this is what I would consider a starting point. If you want a simple case for the day, a very simple assessment, it's probably perfect. But if you want something more extensive for a final exam or something as a midterm, I would recommend adding in more elements and sort of guiding and building out this case study. But the beauty is we put in 3 things, just our topic, our discipline, and what we're interested in. And ChatGPT has taken the prompt and actually written us a case that makes sense, that works, and now is something we can build upon. And that's the exciting thing behind this tool. Not just ChatGPT, but the generator, that we can do this much easier. I've made so many mistakes getting to this point, meaning I'm sharing this to make it easier for us to get to this point, because it has taken me hundreds of hours of some wasted time just to learn this in a way that can benefit us. So we see obviously what it's writing is a university level case study, cybersecurity or remote working challenges, not an organic title, but we can rebuild the title if we want to. That's not important here. But the idea of we have our introduction, our company background, our challenge, different stakeholders, data analysis is a specific piece to this case, and some company response and strategy, and obviously discussion points. Now that's unique. So these discussion points are not a part of the case. These are supplemental supports that you could use if you wanted, but I'm not going to use them. And obviously then we have conclusion here, and then appendices. Now this is a really interesting thing. This case is, I would consider, a level 1 case. So stick with me here. If you're still with me, amazing. You're going to learn some amazing things here that are going to benefit you. But it's going to take a bit of time. So bear with me on this. But I want to show you and plant some seeds. So if you notice here, by default, this case gave us some financial statements, or it said our appendices would be financial statements detailing the economic impact of the cyber attack, organizational charts, and the examples of phishing emails, and so on. The beauty of AI, and specifically ChatGPT in this scenario, is that it remembers this conversation. So what I would recommend doing first is not building out these data points, is first to expand your case and then build those out if you'd like. This is how we do that. So I'm going to go over here and just go copy, and I'm going to open up Microsoft Word, and I would recommend doing this. Now, the limitation within reason with any AI tool is the way that the length of the amount posted. So essentially, I'm going to copy this and bring this in. And now here is the starting point of our case study. And there's some interesting format that comes with it. You can remove the formatting later on. But the point I want to show you is this is how I would recommend building this out if this is not long enough. And it's not logically going to be long enough. It's not logically going to be good enough for your exam. Okay, so if we think here, here's what we have so far. Let's sort of start to think through, how do we build this, and what is a process we can do to build this out to make it something usable? Because right now, it's not usable to a point that we would actually use it to assess our students, okay? And we want to be mindful of that. So we have our level 1 of the case, and now we're going to go through and think, how can we expand this? Now, for this tutorial, we can't go through this process in detail, but I'm going to show you the simplicity of what we can do, and you can think outside the box after this. Now, if you have any specific topics or content you want this case to be about, we can now add that in here. So for example, all right, so here's marketing, and I'm just going to highlight this and grab the content. I'm not worried about this for this example, but I'm using it to show you the possibility of what you can do. So I'm just going to grab a couple of things here, and I'm going to right click, copy this, and obviously in the real world, we'd cite this, reference this, and we would have our own content from our classes. But what we're gonna do is this. So I've got our case so far. It says introduction. What I'm gonna do is this. What I'm pretending is that this content here is something that's from my class that I want to incorporate into the case. So how do we do that? Well, the starting point of our case, the beginning of our case is here. And now we can actually have ChatGPT rewrite it with some unique marketing elements tied into it. So this is what I'm going to say. Said, here is my content from my course, and I want you to take it and rewrite the case with this content in mind. Make sure that it is logical and flows so that I can properly assess my students. Now, this is a simple way of looking at it. If I was doing this for a test, I would be doing this over a longer period of time and setting things up a little bit differently, but you get the idea. And then all I'm going to do is go a bunch of periods to show a space. I'm going to paste in that content I had, and I'm going to hit enter. And we'll see what ChatGPT does. Now, this is ChatGPT 4, so it should actually take our directions, take the content, and rewrite the case to fit into marketing, the concepts of marketing into it. Now, is it a perfect case? No, but we can now, the sky's the limit, meaning the idea that we can make any problem, any scenario, any insight, any unique nuance in our class integrated into this case. And what's really important is we still have to think of how are we assessing students? What are we trying to assess? What's the intent behind this? How long would they have? What type of questions would we give them? Would they be short answer or multiple choice or true and false or fill in the blank or whatever that is? But the but is this. Once we have our case created, we can create any kind of assessment tool after that. So we can take that case and ChatGPT will reference that case and create amazing short answer questions for us, or discussion questions, or multiple choice questions, whatever that is. And the sky is really the limit. So you're not going to get a lot, you're going to get some out of this example tutorial, but I'm hopefully just planting some seeds to show you of what we could do. So in the real, if I was doing this for my exam, I would read this, go through this and analyze it and scrutinize it. But I'm going to take this now and I'm going to go back here. I'm going to take this, highlight it, and I'm going to replace my case because now it's more in line with my marketing class. Perfect. But I'm going to build out a couple pieces of this. I'm going to do one section to give you the idea. And then we're going to move on to creating some types of assessments within this or tools for assessment. So let's just say under our response and marketing reevaluation, I want to expand this out, right? So I'm going to say, go back here and say, I want you to expand and create more. Now, this is really important. The best thing to do if you want more writing about a certain section is to say, hey, I want more insights on this unique piece, or I want this problem introduced into this scenario, and I want this. Your creativity defines what you put into this. But for this timing and scenario, I'm going to keep it simple. But I'm going to say, I want you to expand and create more details for this section of the case. Make sure that everything flows and makes sense. Double the length of the writing. So all I've done is I've created this prompt on the fly, and I want to do the response and strategic marketing reevaluation piece of this case study. Now, you could actually go through, and what we typically do is go through the case, and because ChatGPT remembers the whole case, this specific conversation, you can expand out every single piece, and then what you do is that when this piece gets expanded, you then just copy it and move it to your Word document, and now you just keep building your document. What I do, and what is a good practice to have, is as you're building this out, periodically stop, recopy your whole case, and say, this is my current version of the case. Does it make sense? How does it sound? Does it logically flow? And so on. But back to our point of what we were doing. We said, hey, we want to improve or expand the response and strategic marketing reevaluation. This small section here, and this could be a huge piece of your exam or just a supplemental tool in what you're doing. But now ChatGPT has written and expanded all of this data and information and storytelling for our scenario. And I call this storytelling because we are trusting it to create this information, which means that it is not authentic, it's not real, it's something that has been chosen for us, but we can do this with real data. We can do this with real content. We can actually do this based off a real scenario, a real company, a real problem. That will be for another video, another day. But now on our right-hand side here, we can build out our document, and the beauty is it will all flow. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go back to my introduction and company background. I'm going to copy these two, go back to ChatGPT and say, I need more info in these sections. I'm going to paste this in. The beauty of this is I'm doing this very quickly with you, but you get the idea of how you can interact with AI and expand and develop the details. I've heard time and time again from people who write cases saying, oh, it doesn't do a good background story, or it doesn't do a good information about XYZ. You just haven't done it well yet. We are the problem in this scenario quite often. It's our ability to prompt the AI, our ability to interact with the AI tool that is stopping us from achieving those results. You can create anything in the written word with this. It just takes some time, creative writing, and a bit of patience to think through this. Because if you think of this, once this is done writing, perfect, I've got it. So I've got the data. I'm going to re-grab this here, and I'm going to replace those two sections, which were two small paragraphs, and now they're much more extensive. And remember, this will all flow. So how much writing did it actually do it, and what level is the writing, and how good is the writing? Well, I'm going to show you a tool that I wrote that is there to do some linguistic analysis on writing, and it's a free tool, will always be free, but it's one you can play with. So if you go here to writinganalysis.ca, this tool, what it does is it helps analyze the writing. So all you do is copy and paste whatever you did, and I've copied this here, and I'm going to paste it in. And what the tool does is it starts to look at the linguistic fingerprint of the writing, meaning it will help explain the punctuation, the density, the structure, the themes, the length of it, but also too the type of writing, the type of formatting. Why are we doing this? Well, I'm applying case studies to this right now, but I'm really interested in, can I identify the linguistic fingerprint of someone? So that, like forensic linguistic analysis, so that I can better understand their writing. And this, for me, specifically stemmed from academic integrity and making sure I can understand what students were saying and doing. So back on this document here, the original case was not 1,500 words, but now we're at a 1,500 word case. So if I scroll down here, what this tool does is it doesn't just say, here's the information about the case. It gives you ways to improve these sections, and it gives you prompts that you can bring straight into ChatGPT and put paste the prompts in, and it will give you directions for improving the sentence structure, or diversifying the vocabulary, or adjusting the punctuation. It gives you prompts connected to your content. Totally side note here. But the point I want to look at is, I'm going to look at this. So our word count is 1,520 words. The average word length is 6.19. The average sentence length is 19.24. The punctuation density is 1.78. And obviously the grade level is written at a post-grad level. So when you're building anything, specifically cases, whatever, with ChatGPT or any tool, my recommendation and what I'm doing in building this case is not just building it for the sake of building it. You're crafting a scenario, and that's an important distinction. You're crafting the whole being of this, and to better understand what you're creating is, it's always better to I recommend to make the case, make it fit all the key points you want, and then expand that out after, so that it's not adding in random facts, or ChatGPT or AI is not adding in random facts and details that you don't want, but essentially craft the case at a short length the way you want, and then if you need it longer, expand sections out you want, or bring in new data and bring that into your prompts to make sure AI does it for you. So we have about a 1,500 word case, not long, but long enough. And the beauty is we can have it now create those appendices. We can have ChatGPT now create those elements of the original output that we had before. And I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go back here, because I'm not going to bring back in the case, because ChatGPT has written it for us, even though on the left-hand side it's the broken up pieces. On the right-hand side, it is the structured case, and how good is it? That is for anyone to judge on their own. If I was going through this, I would read it and scrutinize every piece of it and make sure it fits what I'm doing, fits what I'm looking for. But as of right now, for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to keep it going. So I'm going to go back here to the original output. I'm going to scroll to the top. Here you go, appendices. So the idea is that there would be appendices and examples of the training materials, the timeline. I'm going to focus on this. Yeah, this is what we're looking for. So I look at this. So I want examples of the timeline of the breach in response to the subsequent marketing campaigns. So I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to highlight all of this. And I'm going to say, I need these created. And just paste this in. And I'm going to remove the example of security training materials. And I just want these two other options to be created. And all I've said is I need these to be created, and I copy and pasted the direction from ChatGPT to state that they existed. Now with this, we can do the same thing. We can expand any piece of this, and you might be thinking, but Matt, does it connect? Does it make sense? It absolutely does. ChatGPT will align all of this to work together, but you as the educator, you as the person are driving the ship. You need to read it. You need to assess, does it actually make sense for what I'm doing? It's going to be pretty darn good, but it's always being very clear on what's going on in the writing. But we have these appendices of data, of information now that's created for us that we can now put into our case and reference back and use as pieces to create short answer questions, use as pieces to create multiple choice questions, or any piece of assessment, because for this video, we're learning how to create a case study as an exam component or a case exam. Wow, awesome. So I'm going to take this, highlight this. Now, I haven't read through these, but you get the idea of the simplicity of what is being made. But more importantly, we have to be aware of what's being made, because we're going to take, at the current moment, I'm not following a good protocol because I'm just showing you, try to make it simple and easy. And it's still going to be a very long video. And I'm really sorry for that. But you get the idea. You should be reading, checking, assessing every single piece to make sure it does align with what you want. But now we've got a case that's about 2,000 words with content around our topic that's marketing aligned. It also has a good backstory. It has information about what's going on, and we can build out, assess, develop, we can make this 25,000 words if we really wanted. We can make it have any facts, any figures, any insights, any problem, any alignment to your courses, if you like. You can align this directly to your learning outcomes. You can align this directly to a piece of your course. And the beauty is, it just takes time asking and directing ChatGPT to do that. So now we've got a pretty extensive case on the right-hand side. It looks great. But remember, real world, we would be reading, scrutinizing every piece of this, going through it. We're not looking for data legitimacy. We're looking for data accuracy in the sense of how it aligns with what we want to assess. And obviously in our scenario, it doesn't matter if it's a real company. We just care it aligns to marketing, and it's based off the topic of cybersecurity. That was just the random two pieces I connected, okay? But essentially, you get the idea of how this could work. The last thing I want to show you is this. I'm going to take my case. So here's my case, copy and paste it back in. And what we're going to do is this. And this is a very, very simple prompt. I would recommend a much more detailed one, but you get the idea. I need you to create 5 discussion questions. Don't worry about typing, it's going to understand, but I'm doing this for the sake of simplicity and figuring this out. Discussion questions for my case. Now, this is a really bad prompt because we're just saying I need you to create 5 discussion questions. But what are we assessing? What are we doing? Who is it for? What are we trying to do in this whole process? We should say who they're for and so on. But for this scenario, we're going to keep it simple. I need you to create 5 discussion questions. Questions for my case. Below each question, give me a suggested response or expected theme/response. So why would I say that? Well, what's important is when you give discussion questions, they're there to discuss. Now, it depends on what you want to discuss, which is how you structure the questions. But if there's a topical theme or something that students should be thinking about, a theory or a concept that should be connected to the question, by doing this and saying, hey, the expected response or so on, it gives you an idea if you're a new professor on what could the type of answers be, like what concepts should students be thinking of when responding, or what areas should be guiding them within this. And now ChatGPT has created our discussion questions. Now remember, this is connected to our case, right? So how effective were Essential Tech's initial crisis communication strategies in mitigating the negative impacts of the cyber attack on its reputation? And the expected question or response would be, students should discuss the timing, transparency, and clarity of the communication, Effective crisis communication should be timely and transparent to ensure stakeholders are informed and trust is maintained. They might analyze whether the communication was proactive or reactive. The point is not this answer. The point gives you as the faculty member an idea of did what the students say made sense? Is it in line with what we should be thinking? And this is not a perfect response, a perfect answer, but it gets you an idea. Why is this really important to do? We didn't write it. So we don't know what we're looking for unless we prompted AI to know what we're looking for. So right now we are learning this on the fly as well. We are learning these questions. So if we knew the case explicitly, which we had read it and gone through it, which we should know if you're doing it for your classes, you should read the case and know it inside and out. The questions should be much more in line with your knowledge level. But the fact that AI is writing it for us, amazing. We're saving time. I am, in the 30-minute video this will be, I'm going to be 10 hours ahead, at least. But we have to be aware of the questions and what would be the answers we would think would be happening, and how would we structure these questions, and how would we guide students through this, or what are we looking for is a thought process within this. The point is, we're not doing anything of value if we're not critiquing what's happening. We're not doing anything of value if we're not really critically thinking about what we are doing and how we're using this tool to better impact our classes or to grow a better understanding of assessments for our students. So hopefully this just gives you a drop in the bucket, a taste of how you can sort of think through creating cases for exams with ChatGPT or any AI tool. Remember, the amazing resources are the case study generator from teachingwithcases.com and the linguistic writing analysis tool, which is at writinganalysis.ca. Hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully that helped you out and was supportive. And I rambled and talked a bit, but this is a topic I'm super excited about because you can do amazing things with it. And more importantly, hopefully my teaching style works for you. I look so forward to having you be a part of the next video. Have a good day.